Hello and welcome back to the Military Matrix. Tonight, we bring you a dramatic and fast-developing story from the heart of the Russia-Ukraine war. A story that is already being described by military analysts as one of the most shocking intelligence and precision strike operations of this conflict so far. According to emerging reports, Ukraine has successfully targeted and destroyed what Russian officials and defense insiders had long described as one of their most protected and secretive weapons research laboratories. A facility estimated to be worth more than $1 billion, buried deep within layers of air defense systems, electronic warfare shields, and reinforced underground structures. But what happened next has left both Moscow and Western observers stunned, raising new questions about escalation, retaliation, and the future direction of this war. Late last night, sources close to Ukrainian military intelligence indicated that a coordinated long-range strike operation was launched against a high-value Russian military research complex believed to be involved in advanced weapons development. This was not an ordinary military target. This facility, according to open-source intelligence analysts, was allegedly linked to the testing and refinement of next-generation missile guidance systems, electronic warfare platforms, and possibly even experimental hypersonic components. For years, Russian state media had portrayed the site as virtually untouchable, protected by overlapping layers of S-400 and S-300 air defense systems, reinforced concrete bunkers, and constant electronic surveillance designed to jam or misdirect incoming threats. Initial radar data and satellite imagery suggest that Ukraine employed a complex mix of drones and precision-guided munitions, likely designed to overwhelm and confuse Russian air defenses. Analysts believe decoy drones were launched first, forcing Russian systems to activate and reveal their positions. Moments later, a second wave reportedly followed, consisting of more advanced strike drones or missiles that exploited gaps in the defense network. Within minutes, multiple explosions were detected across the compound. Thermal signatures captured from orbit show intense heat blooms consistent with secondary detonations, indicating that critical equipment or stored munitions inside the facility were hit. Russian emergency services were seen rushing to the scene in the early hours of the morning, while local authorities quickly imposed information blackouts in the surrounding area. State television initially downplayed the incident, calling it a minor fire caused by falling debris. But as dawn broke, the scale of the damage became impossible to hide. Satellite images circulating online show large sections of the complex reduced to rubble, with collapsed roofs, scorched earth, and extensive fire damage spreading well beyond what would be expected from a limited incident. Military experts are now calling this strike a major psychological and strategic blow to Moscow. This was not just about destroying hardware, it was about sending a message. By successfully hitting one of Russia's most guarded military research sites, Ukraine has demonstrated a level of intelligence penetration and long-range strike capability that challenges long-held assumptions about Russian defensive superiority deep behind the front lines. For Kiev, this operation appears to signal that no target is truly off limits anymore. But then, something unexpected happened. Within hours of the strike, Russian military activity across multiple regions sharply increased. NATO surveillance aircraft reportedly detected heightened movements of Russian strategic assets, including long-range bombers and missile carriers. In several Russian cities, air defense systems were placed on high alert, and flights were temporarily suspended at major airports. Kremlin officials convened an emergency security meeting, the details of which remain undisclosed, but the timing has fueled speculation about a potential large-scale response. Russian military bloggers, often more candid than official channels, described the destruction of the facility as a catastrophic failure of air defense and internal security. Some openly questioned how Ukrainian forces obtained such precise intelligence on a site that was supposedly among the most secret in Russia's defense network. Others warned that this strike could mark a turning point, pushing the Kremlin toward harsher retaliatory measures. Meanwhile, Ukrainian officials have remained deliberately vague. They neither fully confirmed nor denied responsibility, sticking to carefully worded statements about Ukraine's right to defend itself and strike legitimate military targets involved in aggression. However, Ukrainian social media channels were flooded with cryptic messages and symbolic imagery, suggesting a clear sense of accomplishment within defense circles. Western analysts are now debating the broader implications. If this facility was indeed involved in advanced weapons research, its destruction could delay or disrupt future Russian weapons programs by months or even years. Rebuilding such a complex is not just a matter of money. It requires specialized equipment, skilled personnel, and time, all of which are increasingly strained under sanctions and wartime pressure. At the same time, there is concern about escalation. The Kremlin has repeatedly warned that attacks on what it considers strategic assets could provoke a severe response. The question now is whether Moscow will limit itself to conventional retaliation or attempt something more dramatic to reassert deterrence. Some experts fear an increase in missile strikes against Ukrainian infrastructure, while others believe Russia may target symbolic or political sites to send a message. As the dust settles over the destroyed laboratory, one thing is clear. The battlefield is no longer confined to trenches and frontline towns. This war is increasingly being fought in the shadows, through intelligence, technology, and precision strikes aimed at the very foundations of military power. Ukraine's apparent ability to reach deep into Russian territory and hit $1 billion heavily fortified facility suggests a shift in momentum that could reshape the strategic calculus on both sides. And as global leaders watch closely, the world is once again reminded how rapidly this conflict can escalate, how fragile assumptions of security can be, and how one strike, carried out in silence and secrecy, can send shockwaves far beyond the immediate explosion. We will continue to monitor developments closely as new information emerges. Stay with Military Matrix for the latest updates as this story continues to unfold.